You've been told your whole life that gravity is a force, pulling things down. But there's a deeper way to understand what's really happening. So why does everything fall? Let's start with something familiar. You drop a ball. It falls straight to the ground. Simple, obvious. It feels like the earth is reaching out, grabbing the ball, and pulling it downward. That's the picture most of us grow up with. Gravity as an invisible force, like a magnet, constantly pulling everything toward the earth. And for a long time, that idea worked beautifully. It explained falling apples, moving planets, even the motion of the moon. But then, something didn't quite fit. Because if gravity is a force, then falling objects should feel that force, right? Think about it. If I push you, you feel it. If a car accelerates, you feel pressed back into your seat. Forces are something you can feel. But now, imagine this. You're in an elevator, and suddenly, the cable snaps. The elevator starts falling. Inside, you and everything around you begin to float. For a moment, it feels like gravity has disappeared. But wait, gravity didn't turn off. You're still near Earth. Gravity is still there. So why do you feel weightless? That's the clue. Something about our usual idea of gravity is incomplete. Now imagine something else. You're in deep space, far away from any planets. You're inside a spaceship, floating freely. Everything feels weightless. Now suddenly, the spaceship starts accelerating forward. What happens? You feel pushed backward. Just like gravity, objects fall toward the back of the ship. If you didn't know better, you might call that direction down. So here's the strange question. What's the difference between standing on Earth and being inside an accelerating spaceship? From your point of view, there's no clear difference. This idea is so powerful that it changed how we understand gravity completely. Maybe gravity isn't just a force like we imagined. Maybe it's something deeper. Now let's go back to the falling ball. We said the Earth pulls it down. But what if the ball is simply following the straightest possible path it can, in a space that isn't actually flat? It sounds strange, because we're used to thinking of space as empty and flat. But what if space itself can bend? This is the key idea. Mass, like the Earth, changes the shape of space around it. It bends it. So when the ball falls, it's not being pulled in the usual sense. It's following the natural path in a curved space, the straightest possible path in a bent world. Think of it like this. Imagine a stretched rubber sheet. If you place a heavy ball in the center, it creates a dip. Now roll a smaller ball nearby. It curves toward the center, not because something is pulling it directly, but because the surface itself is curved. Now, this isn't a perfect picture, because the sheet itself uses gravity to work, but it gives us an intuition. Mass changes the shape of space, and things move according to that shape. But here's where it gets even more surprising. It's not just space that's affected. Time is involved too. Near something massive like Earth, time actually runs slightly slower. You don't notice it, but extremely precise clocks do. So gravity isn't just about falling, it's about how space and time are shaped together. This combined structure is what we call space-time. And objects don't just move through space, they move through space-time, always following the straightest possible path available to them. Now go back to the falling elevator. Why did you feel weightless? Because you and the elevator were both following that natural path through space-time. No resistance, no interruption, just motion along the path the universe allows. But when you're standing on the ground, something different is happening. The ground is pushing up on you, constantly, preventing you from following that natural falling path. And that push is what you feel as weight. So here's the twist. You don't feel gravity as a pull when you fall. What you feel is the force of something stopping you from falling. Take a moment and let that sink in. When you're standing still on Earth, you're not simply at rest. The ground is continuously pushing up on you, holding you away from your natural path. And when you fall, you're finally free to follow that path. Now let's zoom out. Planets orbit stars. Stars orbit galaxies. Everything moves in these smooth, curved paths. We often imagine invisible forces pulling everything together. But in this deeper view, they're following the structure of space-time itself, like marbles rolling along invisible curves. Now imagine something extreme. What if the Earth suddenly disappeared? Not just the ground, but everything. The mass, the source of gravity. What would happen to you? You wouldn't feel a sudden release from a pulling force. Instead, the curvature of space-time around Earth would vanish, and you would simply continue along your path, straight, no pull, no snap, just motion continuing the way it already was, because gravity wasn't acting like a rope. It was shaping the path all along. And that changes everything. It means gravity isn't just something acting on objects. In Einstein's view, it's built into the structure of the universe itself, space and time. So the next time you drop something or feel your weight against the ground, remember this. In Einstein's picture, nothing needs to reach out and pull things down. Instead, the Earth bends space-time, and everything around it follows that shape, the most natural path possible, and maybe the strangest part of all. Is that what feels like a force? Is actually the geometry of the universe, quietly guiding everything, all the time.